What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Behance Live. My name is Howard Pinsky, joined by the amazing Michael Kochenburger. It's the third stream of the day. We kicked off the show with Peter Deltano, just finished with Evan Place, and now we have the amazing Michael, who I just sped through that. I'm sorry, Paco, I just sped through that schedule. There's a schedule, and we will be back tomorrow as well with the same amazing people. What's up, Kathleen, Ennis, Miriam? Hope you're all doing well. I am doing great. And if you want to check out some of Michael's work, head over to Made by Coco with a K, yes. Not C. If you go to Made by Coco with a C, you actually get a suspended website. I gave him a heart attack yesterday. That wasn't fun. He has some great work, and we'll get into a little story time in a second.
Yeah.
You may find this kind of inspiring. And if you are watching on Behance, feel free to chat, feel free to ask some questions, and if you want to kind of follow along and design along right alongside Michael, head up to the Challenge tab, and then if you go down and you can read all this information, you're basically designing and prototyping a mobile app for fast food ordering. So definitely get that done, and if you get it submitted before the stream ends, then Michael and I will take a look at it. We will rip your designs to shred. Maybe not.
No.
Okay, we'll be nice. Fine, we'll be nice.
We're gonna go gentle.
But that'll be fun. So before we jump in, Michael kind of told me something interesting a little bit earlier, that you're fairly new to the UI and UX world.
Yeah, I actually wanted to tell my story a little bit. About 8 months ago was when I really started pursuing UI UX in a serious way. I had dabbled in it before. I was instrumental in launching the Felt app for iPhone.
Nice.
But it had been like maybe 5 years between that time and then 8 months ago. And what really happened is I went to a conference called Creative South, and I met Peter Deltano, who was on the stream earlier today, as well as Evan Place. And I just came up to Peter and I said, hey, would you take me under your wing and kind of just teach me the tools of the trade and help me specialize my skill set and get me proficient at this UI UX field? And he totally took me under his wing. And over the last 8 months, it was every day I was giving him new screens to look at, new screens to help me to help critique, and he was incredible. The website that Howard just showed you guys is all a reflection of my efforts in the past 6 months. And so if you're an aspiring designer out there, maybe you've been a multidisciplinary designer and you feel like maybe I want to specialize in a skill set, I would encourage you to find a mentor kind of in your local community. Me and Peter's on the other side of the nation from me. He's in LA, I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, totally different sides of the country, and just over Slack, we would share what we're doing. And it's really because of that relationship that I've learned what I have. And I get a little choked up sometimes just thinking about it.
You can let it out. But I love this story so much because we've even seen, just in the last stream, not the last one, but the one this morning with Peter, is we've had a few people ask us, how do I get into UI and UX? I'm in a completely different field, whether it's biology or some sort of other graphic design related field. And some people assume you have to go to school for many, many years, get a bachelor's or get a master's or all these different types of educations, but you don't.
No.
If you find the right mentor and you really dedicate your time, and one of the things that probably helped you is your dedication.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of these things you just did once in a while. No. You have to really push yourself to better your design work, and that's what you did.
Yeah.
And now you're here with us designing some really cool applications. Like, what are you designing?
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. I do want to do just a quick recap of some of the intentions, some of the client overview and stuff like that. We went over this yesterday, but if you weren't here yesterday, I want to make sure that you're caught up. So just a little overview. Flix, the company that's a mock-up company, this is not a real company, is a Fandango competitor, and they're looking to move into innovative spaces, and the Fire TV, Amazon Echo Show, and the Echo is incredibly interesting to them. So let's say that they hired me to build out an app for the Fire TV platform, and so they want to they want to do ticket reservation through Fire TV so that it's completely voice led. You don't need your remote. You don't need your phone. You don't need to type anything in. None of that. So the intent really is to build a fully voice-enabled app for the Alexa Echo Show and the Fire TV/Fire Stick. And so the problem that we would face immediately is to not make it overly bloated. We don't want information to just bombard people right away. We want things distilled in a really finite, not finite, but in a refined way. So it needs to have some sort of quickness advantage. It needs to feel quick. It needs to feel agile when you're moving through it. And they need to be somewhat surprised by the experience. Or else they're just going to whip out their phone and use one of those solutions that's already available to them.
Exactly, and voice definitely has those benefits. And we were talking about this yesterday. Is if you're doing stuff on a mobile device and you're touching, it's usually you're following a very set process, right? But with your voice, when you're talking to one of these digital assistants, there's a possibility, and we might see this in some of your prototyping, that you can combine voice lines.
Yeah.
If you just know exactly what you want, you don't want to go through the process, you can basically just say, I need to order a ticket for this movie at this day, at this time, at this theater, and it should be able to understand that. You can just basically go through a multi-step process with one voice line.
Exactly. So yeah, I just wanted to just do quick overview. Yesterday we did wireframes, and I'm going to show you guys that. Today we're going to go into the design and get into some of the nitty-gritty.
Nice.
It's still going to be quick because we only have maybe around 70 minutes to bust out some designs.
You can do it.
Yeah. But so maybe we're going to hyper-focus on just a few screens, but keep it flowing. And those screens are going to be the Amazon overview screen. I got it right here for those of you that are on the stream right now. Amazon weather screen, the Flix splash, movie picking, single movie info, theater selection, screen types, show times. Those are actually, I'll show you, but those are combined now due to some of the suggestions that we had through you guys in the chat yesterday. And checkout and then confirmation of that checkout. So let's get it right into it. And I'm going to expand this.
Nice.
All right, so yesterday, some of this looked a bit different. The weather screen was super basic, and I didn't want to go through and just have you guys watch me type in tedious information like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., whatever. Howard did mention yesterday that there's an expedient way to do that, where you could have some sort of text doc, I think is what you said, and it could autofill that information for you. But in the short time that I had to kind of make these, we couldn't get too much into that. This obviously didn't change very much if you were here yesterday. It's pretty basic, just a splash screen. We added some space in between these to give some breadth and airiness to this screen, but this is gonna have your movie selection. And what we're gonna do in the prototyping phase of this is you're gonna be able to tell Alexa that we need to see more, and we're gonna move over into more selections of movies and stuff. So you're not just gonna have 3. Then we got this changed a lot. If you remember yesterday, we were gonna have the cast and director into this kind of circular format. We're gonna move away from that and kind of emphasize other movies that are popular right now instead, and just kind of tuck the cast and directors right into this area. We got theater selection. So those are kind of filled out with some distances and how long the theater's open. And so here's an interesting screen that I've been just mulling over since since I knew I was coming here. How do we make this intuitive? Because this is really the details of your ticket screen. So how this is going to play out in the prototype a little bit is these down here, this IMAX showtimes and these IMAX ticket pricings, these are going to be invisible until the person chooses one of these. And they'll just say, Alexa, let's choose IMAX. And then all of a sudden, IMAX showtimes is just going to kind of fade into existence. And then you're going to switch a time, say, Alexa, I choose 1:20 p.m. And then from there, it's going to show the ticket pricing, and that's going to fade in. And the reason that I chose to do it like this is because they're not going to know what to charge you for this ticket until you tell them the time. If you think about it, when you are looking for a ticket, matinee pricing is a thing. So if it's before maybe that 12 p.m. time frame, it's going to be a totally different pricing structure. So here we go. Right into this, grab a seat selection screen. Somebody, I believe, on stream or in chat yesterday said, maybe it was you, Howard, I'm not even sure.
Maybe.
But you mentioned that there was maybe a suggested
it was me, yeah.
seating arrangement. And this would be really cool, kind of as a concierge feature, where maybe in the past you've been to this exact theater and you've chosen the IMAX before.
Yeah.
And they said, last time you chose this one, do you just want to book that again? And it could kind of just lead you right on through.
Or even if you, sorry to interrupt, but even if you haven't been to this theater before, instead of having to say, I want seats 4D, based on typical seats that people pick on when going to a movie, it might recommend a series of 2 seats or 3 seats or 4 seats depending on how many people you have. Because it's tricky with voice. You can't just tap and choose some seats. You have to actually talk, and that's the tricky side of voice. It's great for like very multi-purpose quick actions, but there's also a little bit of trickiness to it.
Yes, and I just thought of something totally different. If you maybe there's a handicap person and they kind of always need that handicap spot, and maybe right away before when they get in here, Alexa could tell them, hey, your handicap spots are already taken. Do we want to choose a different theater type? Maybe. So that's something that can kind of be an added concierge feature. Or if they need that accessibility seating, it just kind of auto selects one of those in the theater for
Absolutely.
them. And then here's our checkout screen. Yesterday, this kind of gave me some issues, so I went through and I did some research into some interesting solutions, and I kind of came out with this tactile ticket-looking screen where you would just off to the side here choose your preferred payment option. And right now we only have credit card or gift card. And if you guys in the chat have any other real suggestions, that would be great, and we can just add those down in here when we get to that screen. So let's get into designing.
Sure. And Brianna has a good point. Perhaps if you say a seat towards the front, it can offer suggestions of seats in rows A to C.
Exactly. That's what's cool about voice is so much automation can be built into it that it removes that need for that tactile interaction, maybe with your finger or on the computer if you're using your mouse. So.
Yeah, and when you're designing this and prototyping this in Adobe XD, you can technically add as many voice commands as you want on a single artboard. You can hide them if you don't want them showing directly on the screen.
Yes.
And even on the seat screen, you can basically link voice commands from each seat if you wanted to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And what Alexa can do, we got to think about visually impaired people. Maybe Alexa kind of recites back to them what they just ordered and all that stuff because they're not going to have those visual cues. Okay, so let's go ahead and dupe some screens down here and just start getting into design. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Aaron Draplin, but one of his things that he always says is that vectors are free. And in this case, screens are free. So we can make as many screens as we need to make here. And so that allows for some awesome iteration possibilities. And maybe you want to change the text here on this screen, but you want to do something completely different with it here. You want to see them separately.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you typically keep your wireframes up top separately and then design on additional artboards?
Yeah, because I still want that journey, that story of where I was to kind of keep informing where I am. Yep. Because, I mean, if you're going to be changing your wireframes around, you might accidentally delete something that you liked, and you're not sure where it is, so you might have to undo, and it can just get really messy. So it's best for organization purposes to just dupe it because they are free screens down below. So let's get right into this. I already went through the task of kind of grabbing some images that we want to use for this. And I got this image from Adobe stock. And if you haven't gotten in there and worked with that, I think you get 10 free images when you sign up.
Yep.
So
stock is great.
Yes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drag that right into my file. And we're gonna expand this back out so you guys can see better. But I got this beautiful image of, I believe this is Mount Fuji in Japan. So we're gonna drop that into our artboard, and you're gonna see that within the artboard, it's gonna stay brightly colored, but outside of it, it's gonna fade it a little bit just to let you know. And we're gonna move that kind of on top and just work it so that we get some good orientation here.
It already looks beautiful.
Yeah, so.
It's amazing what a background image can do.
Yeah, if you spend the time to actually like kind of pick some decent colors like in your background images, you can really make your designs pop. And
so just put this background image on all the other artboards and we can go home early.
Oh man, if only it was that easy. But the good thing about just the UI UX world is we can move this quickly and all that. So
yep.
Here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of add an opacity layer onto this because we want to make sure that our white text shows up really well. And this is just, we're gonna add it so that it's like dark, and then 20% even. And you can already see, and this is actually over top our white stuff, so we're gonna move it down here above.
That looks nice.
Our image.
Nice little contrast going on.
Yeah, and this just makes our whites pop because we don't want them to, this image will change. I don't know if any of you have Fire TVs out there or Fire Sticks or whatever. The background changes based on famous photographers' photographs. Mm-hmm. And you don't want your design to get lost in this beautiful photograph. So you just kind of want to drop this opacity a little bit. Not that it detracts from the photograph, but it allows your whites to pop. And we're gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna select those, and we're gonna drag those over to this next artboard and make sure those are in the back. And this is a much more extensive artboard situation. And it already looks good. So, I mean, that was super quick. We moved from our wireframes to pretty much a done screen really quickly. We don't want to mess too much with the vanilla Amazon screens because they've already done all the research they need to do.
Sure.
And you're wanting to kind of plan out your day. And so you say, Alexa, what's the weather going to be like today? And she's going to tell you, she's going to pop this up. The general feeling is, I don't really want to do anything outside today. What else can I fill with my time? Let's go see a movie. There's plenty of awesome movies out there right now. First Man, because I'm a sci-fi / space junkie.
I'm gonna have to see that one.
Yeah, I need to see it too.
I was telling you yesterday, I haven't seen a movie in an actual theater in about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
I'm also a gamer, and I love space games. Mm-hmm. I saw that you were into No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, yep.
And I am all about some No Man's Sky.
Nice. We should talk later.
Yeah, we should talk later about that. Let's stay focused. I could talk about that all day. So we got our Flix screen here. And this screen needs to kind of introduce people into this app. And it needs to be kind of bright and fun and just set the tone for the rest of the experience. So we're gonna grab a cool gradient.
Gotta love a cool gradient. Now, a cool gradient as in like bluish gradient or a cool like cool?
Well, in this instance, we have our demographics gonna be all over the map. Everybody loves movies. So I went with a color scheme that kind of bridges some of those some of those demographics preferred color theory. So we just got this in our assets panel. I went ahead and saved this gradient that I just think is gorgeous. And we're gonna go ahead and actually, let me go ahead and make this shape that we're gonna apply this to. We're gonna get rid of that. And I believe I just select that and boom.
Damn.
We already got it there. And then we're gonna make it so that it's got a little angle to it.
Beautiful.
And boom. So we got this going on, and we're gonna move this to the back. And I need to switch back to my layer panel, and that's Command-Shift-Y. Command-Shift.
It might be just Command-Y.
Command-Y to go back. Command-Shift-Y to go to the assets panel.
Yep.
Okay. So here we go. Already looking good.
There we go.
And we're gonna do a cool animation. Maybe this gradient's kind of evolving and moving.
Ooh.
And we're gonna, because Adobe Illustrator has a direct you can drag an AI file, .ai file, right into your XD and edit it from XD.
Mm-hmm.
And Adobe Illustrator just announced freeform gradients.
Right.
So
you
maybe
won't be able to edit the gradients though.
Okay, so
But-
maybe we'll just skip that.
But you can definitely use them.
Yeah,
And those
okay.
gradients are delicious.
Yeah. So this screen's pretty much done. Splash screens are super simple. They're just meant to be punchy and kind of set the tone.
Yep.
So actually, just gonna go ahead and pull this down. And so we got this back layer here, and I'm gonna move back to my assets panel. Just gonna select that, and it's already back there. And we're gonna go ahead and just add that angle.
Hey, welcome back, Ryden.
Yeah, man. I think I remember you from yesterday. It's good
Yep.
to see you back. So one of the things that I wanted this app to feel is that it needed to kind of gratify a few different expectations. Flix wants to make sure that you know that you're inside their app. But they also want the incredible movie artwork that studios spend hundreds of thousands of dollars designing this artwork.
Mm-hmm.
They want that to pop out and to be just amazing. So how I kind of achieved this is we got this outside bar here, having that Flix gradient that you've already told has to do with this brand. So we kind of have this black layer nested inside there. And for this screen, this is just gonna remain black, so that we can have this nice contrast and make these where these movie posters are gonna be.
Yep. I love that.
Let's let me go ahead and grab that movie artwork real quick.
And the nice thing when we were working with like a movie app and movie posters is they're so beautiful to begin with that it just kind of adds to the whole design flair
Yes.
of the entire project.
Yeah. So I went through and did some work beforehand and just grabbed some movie poster artwork out in the wild. The wilds of Google Chrome. And so we're just gonna... I think there's a better way to do this.
There is, yeah. If you go back to Finder, if you just delete that First Man poster,
Okay.
go back to Finder and then just drag that First Man poster directly onto that mask.
Okay.
And
I've
it'll just
actually...
automatically...
So you see how it's... Yeah, so
Yep.
you see how it's selecting that element right out of the drag. That's incredible, by the way.
Isn't
you
it
can
cool?
just drag that right into an element.
And you don't have to worry about being too big.
Yeah.
It just automatically shrinks it to that size. And if you need to, you can double click on it to adjust the mask.
Okay, excellent. And
cool
it's
stuff.
already adhering to, so we got to do a little we got these words up here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of those words because it's already super small anyways. I'm gonna kind of drag this out just a little bit so we can get rid of those words up there. And so we just have the main stuff right in that. So we got the top stars, title of the movie, and it's good to go. They also say it's in IMAX theaters. I think some of the shots were shot with an IMAX camera.
Oh, was it?
And they did some sort of innovative way to fit this IMAX camera within his helmet somehow.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how they did that
Wow.
because IMAX cameras are notoriously
They're
huge
huge.
and clunky.
Technology is bonkers.
Yeah, so I saw some quick expose on how they did that, and that was just nuts to me. Next, we're gonna just drag in another piece of interesting artwork. So actually, go ahead and delete these because the way I did this is just not that efficient. So here we go. We're gonna drag that right in, and Venom, Loud and Proud. That's some really cool, gnarly artwork right there.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Let's go with The Star is Born. Heard that's a really good movie. Definitely want to check that out as well. I love Bradley Cooper. I think he's an amazing artist, or amazing actor. But then we'll just do Bad Times at the El Royale. And so we're gonna make sure that's kind of at the right orientation.
Ryden's asking if animations work when you publish. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Maybe soon.
So we're just gonna kind of populate this, and I'm actually gonna make sure that's adhering to the left side of the text box. And so I gotta zoom in real quick here. Don't wanna get it too far off. All right, and then we're just gonna do Venom. This one's a little bit longer. So we're gonna drag that out. Oop. Drag. Okay, I'll just type it out. Trying to remember if you capitalize the I in that instance.
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're just gonna delete that. Okay. Sorry, a little bit of some just text input fields. I know those are super interesting.
It's all part of designing.
Yeah. There we go.
If we move the mic all the way down as you're typing, could be like an ASMR section.
All right, and bad times. And I'm just gonna leave that kind of right there because we don't have the space to fully kind of incorporate the full name on that. And since we're not moving into prototype yet, I'll go back probably tonight and have to clean up just a little bit of these. But I'll let you guys know what I clean up so that you can kind of have an idea of maybe the in-between work.
Yep.
So that's good. So we got our movie selection screen. I'm gonna kind of, yeah, it's looking really good. There's some good airiness here. We want to make sure that like the space that we have here is maybe just doubled here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm at 64 on this side. So we're gonna go with 128, if I'm not mistaken, on this side. Actually, I think I might have been there already in a way. Oh, here we
And
go.
Adobe XD does support math. So what you could technically do is snap it to the right side of the previous poster, and then in the properties panel, you basically put plus, what was it, 128 you said?
Yeah.
And it should move it over 128 pixels to the right.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm still learning stuff about this. You guys probably, I don't know if you just joined us, but earlier I went into my story a little bit. Still learning the ropes of XD.
There's always going to be things to learn.
Yeah, and they just launched a bunch of new features, and I encourage every one of you guys to go check them out. Howard's already put out a bunch of cool videos about those new features, so. So check out where I'm at. Okay, I'm getting a little like finicky here, and there we go. We're just gonna leave it at that because honestly, I think it's looking pretty good. So.
Now, when you're designing in this phase, I know you're trying to get as pixel perfect as possible. But do you go through, once you have a first design pass, do you go through again and again and again to do like a polish phase?
Yeah. So your very last phase is probably going to be. I would recommend everybody out there looking up bootstrap grids or 8-point grids.
Yeah.
In this first iteration phase, them being exactly pixel perfect, you want them to be as close as possible. But when you're iterating and you're just testing out new ideas, I would encourage you to kind of just keep moving. So the wireframes, it's just quick. You know, you're going as quick as you can through just to get the ideas on the page, on the screen. With this, you're implementing colors, you're implementing content, you're driving those concepts home more. But in the final phase, I would recommend making sure that everything is kind of on an 8.8 pixel grid. So that means that the distance between here and here is going to be in denominations of 8. So 64 is a denomination of 8. So that's kind of why I have it as a general rule of thumb kind of on the side here. And then the space between these, I think that's 50, I think that's also 64, but this is 56. Like you want to keep it kind of in that realm, so that way your developers don't hate you. Because it's easy for them to have that standardized system.
Who knew math would become so useful in designing?
Exactly.
And you know what else is useful? Chat and win. Because you can win 100 stickers from stickermule.com. We're going to cut to a video in just a second. When we get back, I want you guys to let us know what your favorite, we did movies yesterday, right?
Yeah. If you guys...
No, whatever, do it again.
Yes.
Let us know what your favorite movie is, or just type whatever it is you want, and we'll pick a winner, and they'll get 100 free stickers.
All right.
Pew, 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 pew. Get
All
chatting.
right. Wow, we got Pew Pew Pew. I'm not sure I've seen that movie.
Inception's a great movie.
Amazing movie. Was he in a dream the whole time? Was he not? I still don't know.
I don't know. Ready Player One, I haven't seen that one. Spaceballs is great.
All right. Yeah. Spider-Man. Yeah, any Spider-Man.
So if I haven't seen a movie in 2.5 years, what would you suggest? I know there's a lot.
Well, based on this right here, and because I know you're kind of into space, games at least, I would recommend First Man.
Okay.
Super riveting story based on a true story.
And Brett Anderson, we have a winner. Congratulations,
Way to go,
Brett. Someone from Behance is going to reach out to you very shortly to set up and get your 100 free stickers. And if you did not win today, you can also go to stickermule.com/Adobe Live. You get 10 free stickers, free shipping worldwide. They're a great service. I've used them many times. Have you used them before?
I have not used them before,
Okay.
but every designer I talk to, if I was to make stickers, it would definitely be through Sticker Mule.
Yeah.
They have an incredible support group over there that is they're super responsive.
And who doesn't like free worldwide shipping?
Exactly. It's amazing.
It's great.
All right, so back into, let me expand this out. I keep forgetting to do that, but we're gonna get on top of it. All right, so we're in this single movie screen, and this is incredibly important because it's got, movie theaters want to sell you the movie based on who the director is, who the cast is, based on kind of the synopsis that they have for the movie, and you also want to make people aware that the rating of the movie,
Peter's calling you out.
Peter actually just mentioned that both stickers on my laptop right now were through Sticker Mule, and they're incredible quality. So when you're looking at a screen like this, you want to make sure that you have maybe the runtime so that people can plan out the rest of their day.
Yep.
You want there to be a trailer because the trailers for movies are absolutely amazing.
So especially on TVs.
Yes.
If you're designing this for TV, you absolutely want a trailer.
Exactly. And you want to have the ratings so that people know not to maybe bring their 4-year-old kid to Venom because it might be a little terrifying. Maybe. Or the Halloween that we're going to pop in here, that movie that's coming out. You want to make sure
I heard that might be good.
Yeah, I've also heard good things about
Horror
it.
movies are always hit and miss.
Yeah.
But I heard that might be good.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. I didn't talk about this on the previous screen, but you also know that we have this back arrow. And while you can't just tap on that arrow to go back, you want people to feel like, oh, okay, I'm not stuck on the screen.
Right.
So they can go all the way back to this original Amazon weather screen if they really want to. So you want people to feel like they have freedom, and that's why that's there, just as a visual cue. All right, so let's get right into this. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this out of there. Let me go ahead and minimize this just a little bit. And we're gonna pull in First Man because I've probably already declared several times my love for space movies. And that's looking pretty good. We got a little chopped off text down here at the bottom.
Okay.
And we're just gonna work that out so that some good information is in there, and that you can see that it's by director, Academy Award winning director Damien Chazelle. Don't know how to say his last name. That's my bad. And we're just gonna start populating this information. So if you'll bear with me for a second, we're just gonna type this out. I already had the synopsis kind of typed in here because it's just
Saves
not
time.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then I got the cast kind of typed in here already because I had to do some research into it. And we're just gonna fill this bottom section down here with some more movies. And so let's say that like A Star is Born is really popular. I heard it's got really good numbers, so go with that.
And if you did happen to use a repeat grid down there.
I did yesterday. I broke the grid just to do some things, but you don't need to break the grid to really edit it.
Yeah, for something like that, and you'd be able to select all 4 movies, the images in Finder, and drag all of them in, and it would just populate, which is super cool.
I'm learning things in
Use
this
repeat
as I'm
grids.
building. Yeah, repeat grid is probably one of the most amazing features of XD.
It is, and it is one of the earliest too.
Yeah. So
Space movies are the best, Beck.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Interstellar.
Yep, love that movie.
Yeah, incredible. So we're gonna put Venom over here because while a lot of people went and saw it, it's kind of got the ratings are not the best.
Disappointing.
But even though I love Tom Hardy and all that, so. And then we're just gonna grab this one. Cool.
I love the poster on that one.
On the Bad Times at El Royale?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's
cool.
kind of simple. The neon sign is just is a really cool touch. And just looking at it, it's got a good centering already.
It's not bad.
So it's good to go. And then maybe for this right here, we can kind of just add in our color again.
Oh, okay.
And just make it kind of pop a little
There
bit.
you
So
go.
that way it kind of shows up and people know that that's something you can click on.
Yeah.
So let's go into this fill
Good call.
and kind of keep it consistent with the angle. We're gonna pull this in a little bit so we get more of that yellow and we get more of that dark purple.
Val's on the right track. Space movies are great, especially if they include lightsabers.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Uh-oh.
I gotta stop
You just
right
activated Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, even the new movies. I know people kind of rag on The Last Jedi.
I like them.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Like, I'm not so invested in
Yeah.
in the Star Wars universe that I'm gonna nitpick at small little things.
Yeah.
I thought they were great. I had to wait until they came out on wherever you rent movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were great.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. Okay, and so to jazz this up just a little bit more, we're gonna do something interesting here.
Ooh.
You'll notice kind of on an Apple TV aesthetic that they will blur maybe this artwork right here. They'll blur that artwork till it's basically unrecognizable, but they're pulling in those colors from that artwork. So
Right.
here, let's do something real quick with that. And so maybe we got that color kind of coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna drop this down a bit. Don't have to spend too much time getting it perfect. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Object Blur, and we're just gonna blur the heck out of it.
Oh yeah. If you tab out of it, there you go. That works too.
And actually, I think, let me go back a little bit. So let me dupe this real quick, and then just gonna duplicate, put that behind. So we're gonna drag that back on there. We're gonna move it down again. And okay, so those are attached. And we're gonna just pop that again.
There we go.
But yeah, so we want to make sure that it's still kind of dark so that you can see the text and everything. But what we're doing is we're just lightly pulling in those colors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually gonna play with this a little bit. I'm gonna decrease the opacity.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest just a little bit, just so the text still pops.
Yes. So maybe we're just gonna keep working down.
Yeah.
I think that's almost in a good space.
Not bad. The bottom left-hand corner is a little bit, still a little bit maybe opaque, but it's not terrible because there's no text behind there. Just yeah.
Let's drop it down to maybe 40. Okay, so we're kind of pulling in those colors still.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is just part of it. You got to kind of work through some of these opacities, make sure that you're getting best of both worlds. You don't want to totally leave out what you just did with the object blur, but you also want to make sure everything's legible. Another thing as a UI UX designer,
You've angered them.
oh no, what did I
Got
do?
them talking about Star Wars and use the Force, Tyrion.
See,
Spock in Gundam.
I love Star Trek too.
I love it.
And I'm gonna anger some people out there, some
Oh,
Trekkies
no.
out there. Star Wars is better. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm gonna start some flame wars maybe.
Oh boy, look what you've
Don't
done.
hate me, but I do love Star Wars better, even with the new movies, even with the prequels. Dare I say?
The prequel. Okay. See ya.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Okay, so let's bring this back up to 60. Okay, so chat, what are you guys feeling about that? Do you guys feel like that's a good look? Do you think it adds to the experience? Do you think it takes away from the experience? If I can get a little feedback, that'd be good. But we'll just keep moving, actually. onto the next screen, because this one's pretty much done. Kind of wondering if maybe this would be kind of right aligned. I'm just gonna leave it for now.
Yeah, it's fine for now.
Yeah. All right, so let's try to bust out another one of these. Maybe let's do Venom, because it's gonna look really cool the way they have the movie poster art. And I went ahead, let me close this down. I went ahead and had to go through and kind of grab out some information for it. And I'm gonna go ahead and just build this out real quick. So let me get rid of the, I'm gonna leave it there just as a, so there we go. So since we built out this top screen, grabbing and duping and then just creating another screen is going to be a much less painful experience. The top one was less experience because I had some, it was less painful because I had some pre-work done on here. But when you already got the structure kind of in place, you can keep making these screens really quickly.
Absolutely.
Especially in your later iterations where you implement that 8-point grid, your developer's gonna love having that standardized set of rules that they could just kind of build these out super quick. So.
And the way Adobe XD works with masks, you can, even though there's an image inside of those shapes already, you can still grab an image and drag it right on top and it'll just replace it. Even the blurred image.
Well, that
makes life so much easier.
Yeah. So here, let me go kind of drag that in real quick. You'll see that it's like bright white. And I'm gonna bring in some, I'm gonna knock down the opacity. We're gonna move this just over just a little bit.
Does the R stand for really bad?
Wow, that was sting. I felt that. Here we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and align this with pixel grid just to get rid of that kind of decimal pixel. I'm gonna move that over so that's 24 pixels in between, which is a denomination of 8.
Of course.
Here we go, we're gonna knock that down to 60. So you can see that, this is tertiary information. And so it doesn't need to be super poppy. It just needs to be there to kind of just inform, and people automatically are just gonna move on.
Yep.
And the synopsis that they had, I went to Fandango to grab these synopsises and everything. And the synopsis was just super short for Venom. And we're just gonna pull that in real quick. Gonna get rid of this truncated ... and just have that and get rid of this more. Well, I guess we'll leave the more because if there's an extended explanation of it, then we can just keep that there. And to kind of get to that more, all we can have Alexa do is just tell Alexa, hey, show me more info or show me more synopsis.
Right.
Maybe we can get more specific like that.
Yeah.
And maybe this this text screen would just kind of populate. Maybe it would just show more and stuff would just slide down maybe a little bit. Who knows? We're gonna work on that tomorrow though, handle those challenges. All right. Can kind of leave this.
You probably want to get rid of Venom.
Yeah, we're gonna need to get rid of Venom here.
Yeah, you can just put first man in there maybe.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I think I could just go ahead and drag it.
You sure can?
Yeah, right there. Super simple. And then, so we got, for the cast, we got Tom Hardy. Michelle Williams. And then we got these. And Scott Hayes. And all these was just the first 4 that they had kind of in there.
Right.
And those are probably the top stars. If they have them all the way to the left, that's where people's eye is gonna be first and foremost. So they're gonna put the biggest star over there so that catches people's eyes. And then for the director, Ruben Flesher. So let's probably butchered his name with a C. There we go. And then we gotta drag in our Venom artwork right here. Boom, super easy. Already starting to come together. And then we just got to, and all I'm gonna really do with this is just drag in that Venom artwork.
There we go.
And it's already got that totally different feel. You still feel like you're in the app because of this outside area, but a totally different mood between Venom and First Man. You see how they got this kind of aspirational yellow, orange, reds, exciting.
I'm gonna get nitpicky.
Okay, let's go for it.
On the Venom screen.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the gradient in the play trailer button.
Uh-huh. How do you feel about it?
It doesn't go with the rest.
You think we should maybe bring it back to a black?
Yeah.
Or maybe a light or dark gray, maybe?
Or I wonder if you can even cut that out so that you can see the background through it.
You want to go ahead and try that?
Maybe.
Let's do this.
See what happens.
So I believe we can just go ahead and knock it out. These are kind of like your Pathfinder options in Adobe Illustrator. And we go ahead and knock that out, and boom, we're just pulling in that background. So it's kind of got this maybe custom feel. How do you feel about that?
I like this better.
Okay.
I'm still not in love with it.
All right.
But I like it better than the gradient, which was kind of throwing me off.
Yeah, it almost, I was gonna revisit that as well. It almost like it was hype. It was just like dragging you towards that play trailer and dominating some more of this other content. And for this one, we might have to play with the opacity just a little bit more, dial it down just a little bit, because I see my cast text kind of disappearing a little bit.
You're right.
And we want to make sure that, there we go. So we got, it's much more poppy there. So maybe we just made this back to like a dark gray, or not a dark gray, but, oh, let me pull it back to solid color first. Need to do that. And how do you feel about that? I mean,
that works too.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with that just for now. But we have two iterations here, kind of slightly different, and we've proven that this format kind of works for different levels of information. So like this one's got a bigger synopsis and it works here. But down here we got a smaller synopsis and it still kind of works. It still feels like there's good hierarchy. Still feels like everything's where it should be. So I can't really see too much else that we need to pull in here. Maybe the time frame here. Let's just go ahead and button that up a bit. 1 hour, 52 minutes. Okay, cool. So let's move on to our next screen. And yesterday, how we made these, and I still have it put in that, I still have it in that repeat grid. We just went ahead, we made this first one, and then we just dragged this repeat grid down, and it just auto-populated all of these spaces, perfectly spaced.
Yep.
And then we just lined it up with this bottom of this right here, and it's good to go. The wireframe was done super fast. Once again, repeat grid for the win.
And you know what's really cool about repeat grids, and you can continue working as I'm talking about this, but there's a plugin, Google Sheets plugin.
Okay.
So that if you're working with somebody who keeps movies and their times and distances, or these are theaters, but keeps all that up to date,
right,
you can basically just take the Google Sheet and load it in. So you don't have to worry about, text files or manually updating everything.
Okay.
Plugins are great.
Yeah. I should probably demo maybe some plugins tomorrow that are really helpful. They also have some good, like, say you're building these out and you got this really cool idea and you just want to upload it real quick to like Dribbble. Maybe you want to put it out in Behance. There's plugins to just kind of automatically take this screen and just pop it into those social avenues.
Yep.
Social platforms, excuse me. And it's just already built in, ready to go. It's really cool. But we'll demo that tomorrow more, because we'll probably have less to do when we're dealing with those prototyping. So, all right, so this is our theater selection screen. And we want this to be super simple because there is kind of a lot of information, and a lot of the users are going to be kind of nitpicky about this because there's a lot to think about. You have to think about when the theater's open. You need to figure out how far away a theater is. In Chattanooga, 6.2 miles is not very far at all. Maybe 10-minute drive.
Here it's about an hour and a half.
Right. And that can make a difference. Say if we wanted to skip a few of these screens, in this very beginning screen, you can say, Alexa, book the next showing for First Man, IMAX, maybe. You add in some qualifications like that, and it go ahead and starts to book it. But if it's like 6.2 miles away, and in San Francisco it takes like an hour to get there, you're gonna miss your movie. So it's kind of good to have that in there, so that people know. But anyways, so let's get into this. So we're gonna work off of First Man, and we're gonna maintain a lot of the look and feel. We're gonna drag in, get rid of that text. We're gonna drag in First Man again. We could just drag and dupe this and drag it into here, but I mean, it's not too much of a time distillation between the two options, so we're just gonna go with that. Here we go. We're gonna unlock that. We're gonna go over to our Command-Shift-Y to bring up your assets panel again. We already got this color dialed in. We're gonna just click it and then go back over here and adjust our angle again. And I think you can already, you can build the angle in, but I just didn't do that, so.
Whatever works.
You think about it after the fact, how much more efficient you can make your wireframes and stuff, or you can make these assets. And I've totally underused the asset panel. It's a really powerful tool.
It is. Are you going to keep the same blurred background on this screen, or are you going to dial it back a little bit?
I might have to dial it back a little bit, but you want to, if you dial it back here, you might want to think of dialing it back here, just for continuity's sake. That's something very important about UI UX. You don't want the rules that you put in place on this screen to just change from screen to screen.
Right.
Because it's kind of sloppy, and it makes for like a poor visual user experience. Let me expand this again. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead.
And very quickly, as Val mentioned, we have about less than 40 minutes until the final challenge deadline. So if you submit it before that deadline, Michael and I will take a look at your applications that you've prototyped. And at the end of the day, after this stream, we're gonna be picking a winner, and we're gonna announce the winner tomorrow morning. That person will win a 1-year subscription to Creative Cloud.
That is a crazy
Isn't that
value.
cool?
Yeah. I would like a 1-year subscription to Creative Cloud.
Just better get designing.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna bump that blur again. Oh, what did I do? Here we go. So we're gonna have to, I wonder if we just drag this over.
Yeah, just copy and paste it.
Yeah, copy, Command-C, paste, Command-V. And I think that kind of came on top of, that went to the top of the stack, so we just need to drag that down. It's weird that it's... So we have that same exact placement, same exact blur, and that feeds into that consistency that you want. So looking at this, I don't know, Howard, how does this look to you? Do you think we got enough contrast there?
No.
For usability?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're gonna have to dial, oh my gosh. How do I redo?
Command-Shift.
There we go.
Z.
So we're gonna have to dial this back for both of these.
I think so.
So let's go with 50. I'm wondering if this, see the blur works really good here.
It does.
But on this, because of it's got such bright colors.
Would you ever consider putting a background behind the theater names? Like a white box? That might be a bit too distracting, but that'll allow you to keep that blur intensity. Yeah,
we could. Okay. I got some advice from Peter Del Tondo in the chat. Maybe fade those lines down 50%. I believe he's talking about these lines. And if we were to fade these down 50%, it's going to do it for all of them.
It sure will.
In that repeat grid. As long as they're in that grid, it's going to do it for all of them. So that's a really quick fix. Okay, so that was a good suggestion from him, because it feels like this is less of a distraction, these lines. And it's doing its job as, breaking up the information. So let's think about this just a little bit. Maybe we need to go down to even just 20%. So you still got that hint of
a little bit there.
Back there. What do you think about that? Do you think it even makes sense to have it there anymore?
I think 40% might. I mean, it looked okay. Go back to up to 40.
Okay, let's try that. Okay.
It's not terrible.
So we got Peter Del Tondo in the chat, and I don't know if you guys heard earlier, but he's kind of my mentor. So let's go with let's go with his suggestion and maybe knock it down to 20.
Oh
and
boy,
I'm just
the pressure's on.
Yeah, so here we go. All right, let's knock this down to 20. And wow, that's really making that pop as well. So let's just keep it like that. Kind of a hint of color.
Yeah. Eric is asking if he puts animations into his design challenge prototype, will we be able to see them? No, I don't believe so. Animations are not supported on the web just yet.
And then Brenna's bringing up a good use case scenario. What if the blurred background was mostly white though, with the white front? You would have to go in and kind of play with it a bit more to make sure that it was legible. Or you would just have to select artwork that's not so white. Usually movie studios, in this case movie studios, have like a dark kind of color palette that they have, and then like a light poster and a dark poster. They want to have different assets out there for different venues to use in different situations. So what you would do is kind of just find that different work maybe.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Export a video, share that.
Yeah, you can take the video, I believe, right in XD. So
if you're on the Mac.
If you're on the Mac.
Yeah. Windows at some point, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and start working on this kind of somewhat complicated. It's not complicated because here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna duplicate this 3 times so that we can show how this is gonna look in the different states of user interaction.
Yep.
So I already grouped these up, and I'm just going to turn off that layer, or turn off seeing that layer. There we go. So this is, hold on, let me do it up here. Yeah. Boom, boom. So this is what you would see, and this is just a selected state. When you're building out your designs, you kind of want to have a selected state, and in this case, that selected state is going to hang there while you make your other options.
Right. And of course you want the most expensive screen type to kind of push them in that direction.
Yeah, or yeah, if they were to start at a space, excuse me, they would probably want the IMAX one to be selected because it's going to be that most expensive.
Now, if by default, if a screen type is already selected, would you want to show the pricing?
Well, that's going to be dependent on the showing time, right? Because you're going to have, we have to think about the time of day that this is going to take place.
Right.
Right. It could be matinee pricing, or it could be, I think some theaters have like Tuesdays have special pricings because that's maybe their least busy day, so they want to up those ticket sales.
Yep.
So depending on the day, depending on the time, that pricing could change. So it's best to, I think in this case, it's best to kind of make it this kind of linear process. So yeah, and then here, let's go ahead and get rid of this guy. So as they went through, say they selected, all they would have to say is, Alexa, I want to choose, or let's choose IMAX, an IMAX screen. Let's say that. And Alexa, this IMAX show times would kind of fade into existence, and you would have these times. And if you paid attention in the beginning and the first 2 Amazon screens, it's 12 p.m. right now. So it's 12:15, 12:50, 1:20. Maybe they want to grab some food first, whatever. So they're going to choose 1:20, and that would just be, Alexa, I choose showtime 1:20 p.m. And then this would kind of fade into existence, this IMAX ticket pricing, and it would show adult, senior, kids. Maybe we would add military pricing in there because I think there's some discounts for military, and I'll add that in tonight. And that's where you would get these kind of pricing table. And then from there you would just say, because all these are already selected, and sorry, I moved my finger, but you can't see that. So all these are both selected, so it's kind of got that in its memory banks, so to speak. And you would just say 2 adult tickets, Alexa, 2 adult tickets. And from there, it would just move you into the next screen, which would be seat selection. But let's go ahead and drag in the artwork here.
And what's really cool is as the user is going through this flow, the virtual assistant could basically be talking them through the process if it's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely demo that out. That's why we might kind of focus on one or two screens because these screens could be packed full of,
they really could.
Of voice stuff. And I'm kind of wanting to show off how dynamic that feature is because it's really cool.
Of course.
So here, let me just command, boom, boom. So we already got our posters in there. I need to go through and unlock these. Cool. And so we already have this created and it's looking good on those two screens. So it's probably gonna look good here. And boom. Yeah, and I think it's still working. There's still enough contrast. And if we were to bring in like an accessibility checker, these would most likely pass.
I hope so.
Like
I think it would.
100% sure. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to seat choice. Or grab a seat.
This is a fun screen.
Yeah, this is a really interesting screen.
This looked like it was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, so there is still more to do in this screen. I'm probably gonna like take some time away. We don't want to spend too much time on it. But this could be super dynamic, and this would change based on maybe how the orientation of the seats are in the theater. We're going with this basic structure just because we kind of are low on time. But it could be as dynamic as we wanted it to be, really. So yeah, let's go ahead. I think I still have that. Yep. Let's pull that in. We're not going to show the artwork because we have it in the last 3 screens here. So we're pretty darn sure what we're going to be seeing.
Now looking at the blur in the background now. Actually, is it on top?
It's underneath.
Oh, it's underneath. Okay.
Oh, wait, it is on top.
Okay, drag it underneath. Let me see if my point is still valid.
Wow, I need to group all those rectangles. What do you think?
I'm worried that it may cause a weird illusion that some people may think a seat is available when it's not available because the blur is kind of altering the colors of those seats.
I could see where you're coming from with that. Maybe in this screen we don't have that background.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get rid of that layer and just keep it really focused on this seat selection.
Yeah.
And let's do a little magic on this selection right here. So let's grab our gradient, just kind of bring it over there. And if I was to, man, I just love that gradient. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty nice.
Oh, and I forgot to change the background on these.
Oops.
So let's actually just Command C and then, oh, yeah, of course, put it at the top. Weird, what is, okay, there we go.
Oh yeah, that could work too, Jordan. Maybe change the color of reserve to red or yellow.
Yeah, that's what we're about to do. Good eye there, Jordan.
Then you could use that blur in the background because it wouldn't be so similar.
Yeah, we're gonna have to kind of when we get there, we're gonna have to make some decisions on that. But in this case, let me just handle these real quick. Of course, there we go. And then just drag that to the bottom. There's probably a much better way to do that, but we're just gonna do that real quick. Okay, so here we got this suggested square.
Yep.
And this is kind of a concierge feature. So maybe it's got kind of this nice pink color. It's not necessarily a concierge-y color per se, but it's kind of exciting, kind of interesting. It's definitely gonna stand out.
Yeah.
And then reserved, let's go. Using the eyedropper tool, we're just gonna pull out that dark purplish blue color. And then available, we're just gonna maybe keep white. Does that make sense?
Now is reserve too close to accessibility?
It is. We're gonna have to move that. Well, here, let's move reserve to yellow. Because I like where accessibility's at. Okay. So we got these 3 different color denominations.
Yep.
And let's go through and just kind of, so maybe, let's think through this. So suggested is being drawn from what you've chosen in the past. Alexa has learned your behaviors a little bit.
Yep.
And she's saying in the past 2 or 3 movies, they kind of like to be in the center of the seating arrangements. They like to be centered, aligned with the screen. That's actually kind of a golden space for a lot of people out there. So let's go ahead and make these. Let's turn off this border. Didn't realize that was still on. Let's go ahead and make these suggested. And we're gonna have to bump up the opacity on those. So you can already see how it's just kind of bright and right in your face.
Yep.
And so let's kind of select. There's probably a much quicker way to do what I'm doing.
Peter says you can also remove seats that aren't available, maybe switch them to an outline.
That's another good option. So let's kind of, so we don't really have that indicated down here. We might need to add that in. But if something is hollow like that, maybe that's enough of a visual cue to tell people that it's already taken.
He also says it could be a terrible idea.
Oh.
You just don't know.
Well, thanks,
you don't
Peter.
know until you start designing. And that's the fun thing about designing. You just don't know. You gotta try out different things.
And that's a huge part of the UI UX field is that user experience. And a lot of that is testing out new ideas with actual users, kind of giving you feedback.
Yep.
And it's really cool that the chat's kind of, and not just Peter, but the rest of the chat as well, kind of giving suggestions. Yeah, precisely.
You just won't know until tested. So true.
So, kind of bump this up, make that white. I wonder how I can make this kind of an asset. So that way I don't have to keep making it over and over again?
Yeah, you could add this as a color. You could also, as Peter did in the first stream, you could copy. So let's say the outline one. You could just go click on that outline one that you just made. Copy it, Command-C or right-click and copy, and then go to all the other ones that you want outlined, and just paste the appearance.
And is that just Command-V?
No, if you right-click and paste the appearance, so it's Command-Shift-V, and it'll do that.
Okay. Wow, look at that. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Learning new things already. And you said it's Command-Shift-V, right? So let's do that. Oop, probably not that many.
Munir is asking if you choose the color palette of the app before you start designing, or do you wait until the end?
Let's say in this case, they already had like a color palette set up. Ideally, Flix is not like a new person on the scene. They're just a competitor of Fandango, and they're looking for an edge to kind of put them over Fandango, who's probably in the lead right now.
Yeah.
And so they already have probably a robust color palette that they have for their apps. And let's just say that that's what we're kind of working off of now. But in instances where that's not the case, you want to have some sort of brand guidelines before you start building out screens, or else you're going to have to do a lot of double work, triple work, to work in that. It's already enough work to kind of go through and add those elements in a way that's kind of new and exciting on these screens. You don't want to make fundamental decisions like that when you're in this phase. So
it's a lot harder that way.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna, here we go. Make that happen. Gonna pull that over here. Cool. All right. And so we're just kind of showing what it would look like to have some of these taken up, and I think I still have that selected. I do. Let's just kind of dot these throughout.
I don't know about you, but I hate the seats right at the front.
Yeah, they always hurt my neck, man.
Not great.
Yeah, not very fun. Yeah, I'm this guy, so that's just based off of, this would be for me, this is what they would have to suggest.
Yeah.
And let's go through. So maybe availability is just any that isn't outlined like this. Do you think we should maybe do something like that, Howard? Or?
We could.
We could.
Try it out, see what happens.
And all that is just that white just kind of brought down, but then it kind of disappears.
It does fade away a little bit. Yeah. And then the question comes up, do you have to have another state for available and not available at the bottom, a little key? Or is it just apparent that the ones that are outlined are not available?
You probably do. Maybe we should build that out real quick. So, going to kind of shorten this up. I had this on repeat grid yesterday, and this would have been
Jason. Being able to pick your seat is the best decision theater's ever made. I love that.
Yeah, having it in advance is a huge win. So, actually going to move these three over, because it should probably be right next to, if we're thinking about kind of data theory and how things that are closer to do with each other, I guess you could say, you want to group like things together.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Peter make some more suggestions. Interesting. Okay. So here we go. These are probably not perfectly aligned, but you know, we're just moving and shaking right now. We're in kind of an iterative sense. So this is available, and you see how that we're gonna have to make.
Mm-hmm. And Peter's asking, what is reserved? Are those? Peter's really grilling you.
Yeah, you know, that's good because.
But they're good questions.
Yeah, I think I did miss that because that might be, maybe we, instead of unavailable, it's just reserved already. And that's what this kind of outline structure is.
That's a possibility.
So, thanks, Peter, for, you know, yeah. He's saying that just missed the explanation on that.
No,
and what that is
point,
we might have just accidentally made a redundancy, and we gotta kind of get rid of it. So.
No, it's true.
And so I'm back.
That's what undo is for.
Yeah. And then Command Shift. Okay. So let's change this from the color to that kind of white, and then actually it's not even a fill anymore. It's just a border, and we got that white. And I think these are 2 point. Nope, they're 1 point. Yeah, because this is not a super retina screen, I'm gonna keep it at 1 point, but on retina screens and like high res screens, like a 4K screen maybe, you wanna have it probably 2 or higher.
Yep.
Retina has a hard time displaying those 1 pixel lines. So, or at least you want it to be, that's not the case. You want it to be double. So basically, in denominations of 2, if you're going to be making your point
And Andrew is asking about handicap seatings. That's what you have as accessibility, right?
Yeah, I actually did some research on that. Oh, I almost moved the whole table. I did some research on that, and Fandango doesn't call it handicap seating. They call it accessibility seating or accessible seating. So that's part of the research that I might do before getting into this phase.
Yep.
Probably should have talked about that before, to be honest. But I did do some cursory research to kind of, you want to maintain lingo throughout so that you're not reteaching people your own lingo.
Right.
Your own kind of ecosystem of language. You want to kind of just build off of what's already there and what people are already used to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is reserved, and that is just going to be seats that are taken. So those are already taken seats.
Yep.
So we're just going to leave it at that. All right, cool. This could be interesting. What do you think about making that like a gradient kind of? It's already a gradient, obviously, but maybe it's a color. How do we feel about that? We want to keep it white. It's kind of nice.
Probably don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah.
If it was a gradient, maybe like a slight either yellow or blue, but I would probably leave it at white.
Okay, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave it white. All right, and then usually those are kind of up at the front, off to the side a little bit because they need a little extra space, usually. And then, yeah, I think so. We've got some, let me dial this back down. So that's pretty much.
Looks great.
Yeah, that's where it should be. All right, so we're just gonna keep moving to this checkout screen. And if you were here yesterday, you saw me anguish over the screen for like probably 5 minutes. And that was because this has to have kind of a lot of information. It's a summation of everything you just went through, pretty much. And on top of that, you need to give a preferred payment option. So it can be kind of busy. So yesterday I was just kind of working through, how should this look? And even looking at this now, maybe I should take this kind of row that's existing right here. And just maybe move that up just a little bit. So it has some relationship with other stuff in the screen, and you're kind of threading the needle between these two and making sure that space between them is somewhat equidistant. So here we go. We're also going to, once again, pull in the color back there, keep it in the family. Here we go. And if I can get some suggestions from the chat about maybe another preferred payment option. I just have gift card and credit card, but I'm definitely open to suggestions on that. And here we're going to put some of the artwork for First Man.
Oh, you should probably also add in Amazon account or Amazon card. Or
that is right. Or how should we go about that, I wonder?
I think they have like a very specific branding guideline on pay with Amazon or something to that extent.
PayPal, that's another good option.
PayPal's a good one, yeah.
They have their own kind of buttons I think you have to kind of use.
Yeah.
And then Apple Pay, another good option. Ripple.
Ripple, there you go.
Yeah, these are some good ones. So let's kind of dupe this out just a little bit and let's build some of these out. I'm not gonna go online and like dig for
Imperial credits.
Okay, that's another good one. Wow, so I did not think there was gonna be so many. So that's totally fine though.
Blood, limbs, we can get very technical.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, there's probably maybe some Bitcoin options out there. Yeah, and then cash. I think that's Cash App if I'm not mistaken.
Exposure, that's a big one that people offer me for design work.
Oh really? Okay.
No, don't do that.
Okay, so let's do PayPal, and I'm not gonna
over our heads.
I'm not gonna go online and like dig through to try to find out the button for that, but you probably would.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna kind of keep it in the same kind of design family right now.
Firstborn
child. Jeez. So brutal. From Peter Del Tondo. Okay, and then so another option, Ripple. We'll just put that in there, kind of build that out some more. But you can kind of see how that would propagate itself. And we're just gonna bring in the artwork. I would take chocolate on a bad day. Nice. So would I.
Yeah,
so would I.
Any day.
Some dark chocolate, that could definitely be a good payment option. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just drag this in right from our folder where it's stored. Boom. Pull that in. Gonna try to, in photography, and this is just because I dabble in photography a little bit, you want to make sure that your subject you wanna make sure you get the eyes of the subject in close-ups like this. So I'm trying to click it. Okay, there we go. Click through and just pull in Ryan Gosling's gorgeous eye in there. So there we go.
That looks good.
We got the name of the movie. We got it kind of looking like a ticket. I'm also going to go right here. Just gonna copy and paste from this over here real quick. So we still are bringing in that, and I think that pulled on top. Yep. Cool. So this is popping back out again. But yeah, this is looking really good. And so all we have really left, and what we're gonna do tomorrow is gonna be really exciting because maybe this kind of flies up into, when you're first coming into this screen, maybe this flies up. Or maybe when it's starting to load up, there's just other things that are happening.
Yep.
Maybe things down here are kind of doing some sort of animation or something. Maybe IMAX, the fact that it's like the biggest, coolest screen, maybe it's got something going on. We're gonna dig through that tomorrow.
There's a lot you can do.
Really exciting, yeah. Checkout screens don't need to be boring. We can make them cool and dynamic and keep it interesting.
And very quickly, we have about 9 minutes left to submit your challenges so Michael and I can take a look at them.
Okay.
Shortly.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna come, somehow we have managed to get through this whole app. And a part of it is just, XD is super easy with just how you're able to copy and paste, you're able to do repeat grid.
Yeah.
You're able to move from wireframe to like maybe a final product really quickly. That part where you know, that thing where you can just pull from a folder right into here and it's already kind of shrunk itself to fit those containers. That's amazing.
So helpful.
Yeah, super helpful. But if you think about it, we've had maybe 70 minutes yesterday. We've had maybe we're gonna have maybe 70 minutes today,
Yep.
probably less even. And we've managed to build out all of this.
It's come a long way.
It's come a long way and it looks pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, there's definitely some things we can massage to kind of make it more interesting. And then when we get into prototyping, that's gonna be even cooler.
That's where things go to a whole new level.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
gonna be exciting.
And it's all gonna be voice-led once again, and that's gonna be super fun.
Yep.
So with this, you know, this is kind of bringing you out of that singular movie experience, and then we're gonna be moving back into the Flix app experience. And so it's gonna look a lot like this right here. And gonna go to my, Command Shift Y, gonna go to my assets panel, pull that in, it's looking good, and just make sure that it's at the angle so we get that continuity.
Love it.
All right, yeah, and let me check this. Maybe we knock this down 50% because we had that line
Yeah.
earlier. I kind of want to maybe drag this out just a little bit. Doesn't need to be super perfect right at this point, like we talked about before. And then we're just gonna make sure that these are all aligned. And I don't know why I didn't click on this earlier. Gonna make sure that's aligned. And it nudged a little bit, so that was a good thing to do. And so remember that Alexa stores a bunch of data about you. Sometimes almost in a creepy way. But you know, it's gonna pull in maybe traffic information. You gotta remember, it learns your commute times. It learns, you could even ask it like how long it would take you to get to, maybe from Chattanooga to Orlando, which is a trip I have to make
It's a long trip.
a couple of times a year. Maybe it just learns how to get to this theater. Maybe that's built into the Flix app. And so it could probably just tell you, from the theater you've chosen, the traffic is light and it's 12 minutes to get there. That would be really handy information, so that way you can kind of know, oh snap, maybe I don't have to rush to get out the door to get to this showing.
And since we've determined that it's raining, maybe Amazon can offer to purchase you an umbrella.
That would be kind of crazy.
Somehow it knows you don't have an umbrella.
Or maybe it would
raining.
just even say, here, remember your umbrella, because it is raining right now.
Oh, there you go.
Or let's think about some other maybe use cases, because we got a few extra minutes here.
We do. And Miriam is asking about an XD file we can see for auto animation. Should I show something off?
Yeah, go for it, man.
right,
We got a few minutes here.
Let me find some files. Let me find some stuff. Hop over to my screen for a second. And I have a lot of stuff. I'm actually working on, it
These all
just
look
goes on
great, by the way.
forever. I'm working on a UI kit I'm gonna be releasing on Behance and Dribbble, and this is not it. I have to tweak this a little bit. But this contains just a bunch of stuff. And actually, where's the, here's one I was working on today, which is kind of cool. So right now in Adobe XD, you cannot trigger an animation on scroll, but you can definitely fake it a little bit. So what I did here was, I have in this, this is essentially how it looks when it's not scrolled. And as the application starts scrolling, and you can set a drag effect for this, this kind of collapses at the top. So if I play this back, and you'll see what happens.
Can we just point out that it's Brad Beardman?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Dude, that is so cool.
And then it goes back and then it expands.
I love that.
Cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just really simple stuff with time triggers and, you know, auto animate, obviously. And I had several versions of them I was working on.
Yeah.
Pull to refresh is something super simple. You can just drag down, that kind of moves, and you can see as I'm dragging, it moves. And you let go, timed animation, and a new post comes in.
Yeah, I might need to have you tonight, maybe later, help me out with some of the animations on my stuff, but because it's definitely incredible. I want to make sure I get some
more
of the stuff
drag
in there.
effects. I am using just timed animation just to show these off, but this works with drag effects. Really cool stuff.
Yeah. I love the Avengers Infinity War artwork. It's
Isn't that
amazing.
cool? And you can click on that and it goes back.
Yeah. Wow, and just how it kind of like, the text jumps over there and it kind of does this bobble for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was just really cool. Just a little bit of whimsy, just a little bit of nuance.
Yeah, and if you convert this text to a path, you can basically break it apart and auto animate will recognize that, and you can, it'll just shift that text around.
That's really cool.
It's cool stuff. And then one that people seem to really like, let's see if I can find it. Was it here? It might be here. Here's part of the UI kit that I'm working on. A little bit of a hint.
Yeah, this is looking good.
But this one here, this was actually, these two screens were designed in Photoshop, and it contains a cutout of these mountains. There's text in the background, and there's just a background image. And what's really cool is you just press play. All you have to do is design the first state and the second state, right? And XD does the rest. So when you press play, it just has this really cool parallax effect.
Yeah, that's
And then
amazing.
you pair this up with like an image gallery that slides up from the bottom, the image pops up, and there's a time transition where the text comes in afterwards.
Yeah.
And you can just reverse it in the kind of mountains.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff, right?
That's amazing.
There's so much you can do with auto animate.
And,
And we're seeing some really interesting things that have been released.
I know we probably are really short on time here before we get into this next section.
Yep.
But it's super important that your developers are able to see your intentions behind your designs. Like, being able to show that that's the kind of animation you want, it can help developers set proper time constraints.
Yes.
It can help them establish a budget. From the business side, it's an incredible feature for them to be able to see how they want it.
Yeah, and if you do need more advanced animations, we now support exporting to After Effects.
Yeah.
So you can take an entire artboard, bring into After Effects, do all your fancy animations, and then export that as a movie.
I don't know if Evan Place knows that, but he's a huge After Effects user.
Is he?
Yeah. So
ooh, Evan,
if
get on it.
you look at his dribble, it's got a bunch of animations and stuff. I bet he's excited to hear about that too.
And like I mentioned earlier, actually, we just got a comment on that. Auto Animate is not supported in a browser yet, but it is being worked on. So hopefully soon we'll have that. Because developers definitely want to see these animations in action.
Yeah.
And a lot of designers don't want to hand over an entire XD document to a developer. They just want to be able to send over either a design spec or a prototype in the web and see that.
That's amazing.
So that's coming.
Yeah.
And without getting into too much detail, we have a lot planned for not only auto animate, but a lot of other features to make this process even better and more dynamic. So stay tuned. I can't wait to reveal some of that.
All right.
So we have just about a minute left. Do you want to quickly go over what you did?
Yeah,
well, we have a minute left until we get into the design challenge review.
Okay.
But let's see what you did so far today.
So we did a lot. I mean, you just saw me scroll back over it. Here, let me make this bigger.
Yep.
Get rid of this panel. So let's just kind of keep both views, both yesterday's work and today's work in view. So here we go. We got our Amazon screens that look great now. These are all going to be kind of animated tomorrow. We went through, made the splash screen. We created this section that just feels super alive, super vibrant and fun. We brought it to the singular movie section where we showed popular right now options. But I mean, look at the transference between here and there. I mean, when you set your wireframes up right, it's going to be this really nice transition between that and this kind of design state. We got our theater selection screen. We got our ticket details. Once again, we have the 3 different kind of versions of how this is going to play out. And that's really important for actually setting the stage for Auto Animate to do some stuff that I'm setting up
That's gonna be
tonight.
fun.
We got our grab a seat screen. Worked through that a little bit. Had to solve some problems right even on the fly. And then we have this checkout screen. And it's just really fun. And it's going to be even more fun tomorrow because I got some stuff planned for it. That's going to be cool. And then back to this super bright, fun, vibrant email confirmation shortly screen, I guess. But yeah, I think we're good to go.
We are. So let's hop over back to my screen. And before we do this, we kind of give a hint as to what the challenge for today was going to be. On Monday, when I was streaming the Getting Started stuff, I was designing an app for a food ordering application.
It's
Imagine
so cool.
that. We kind of hint at things from time to time. And this was the app that I designed. And if you were paying attention, you might have gotten a head start on this. But we designed something fun on the stream.
Yeah.
But I kind of took it to a whole new level. I just posted this on Dribbble yesterday. And I just had way too much fun with this. And it's just like this exploding burger. And you can swipe away the ingredients that you don't like. No one likes pickles, except Anel, who might be, she's in the chat. And it's just really fun. I just had to show that off, because more auto-animate goodness. But anyways, let's hop over. We have a bunch of challenges we're gonna look through.
Okay.
Here we go. And myself and Michael will be giving our suggestions.
Okay, so
and
this
what's
is the first
cool
one.
is on the web, if you just click on anything, it kind of highlights where you can click on. So Burger Band, not just burgers.
Yeah.
All right, sign up. It's a great splash screen, very simple.
Yeah. I love your image here. It really, if this is like, I mean, from a restaurant point of view, it's definitely showing off what they can do.
Yep.
It's really exciting too.
Sign up.
Nice and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to, I mean, when you're on a mobile experience, you just want to keep it clean and simple like this.
Yep.
So this is good. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so two-factor authentication or a verification code,
Yeah.
important.
Definitely good to think about.
I would
'cause
probably
more and
wanna-
more of this is happening.
Yeah, I'd probably want to see some text and copy as to what exactly is going on here, just so they know to check their text or check whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
We know you're hungry, set up a password later, or okay. That's a little bit confusing.
Oh, I think you're saying like, okay, now go eat. Like
Okay.
like that's. I'm sorry if I overacted that, but yeah, this is cool. All right, kind of getting them excited.
Okay, got a menu, and we have scrolling action going on.
Nicely done.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. So I see what you're going with here. I would actually like, this is really great, and this is a tremendous starting off point. I'm super impressed that you were able to like build this out, just today and everything. You could go ahead and just kind of scrunch in. Sorry. Yeah, from the sides. What I like to do just as a kind of standard, I like to either keep it 16 pixels in or 24 pixels in.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of gives you, just a little bit cushion on the sides there, some padding. If you're a developer, you know what padding means. But yeah, this is looking great.
Yeah, I would say if you're stuck on using those rounded corners, definitely squish it in.
Yeah.
Or if you really want it full width, get rid of those rounded corners because they just look a bit.
Yeah, that's
off.
That's what I, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
so it
that's
looks
what I'm
like
going
we can click on search. Oh, we have a fun little animation.
with. Okay, cool.
And that may have been better animated using auto animate, but because we're in the web, it doesn't translate properly. It's probably like a loading circle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom's Pizza.
Yeah,
looks
cool.
delicious.
Ooh.
Okay.
I liked how that happened. I know you're like wanting it to kind of slide up so that search goes away.
Yep.
This is really cool. I like how you have it laid out too. It's nice and simple, and everything that they would kind of need to know
Yeah.
is in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very in depth, which is nice.
Yeah, I enjoy
Added
when
as a
there's a
cart.
little bit more kind of thought added in to it. and
Check
stuff.
out. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Add new address.
Interesting.
Proceed.
Okay.
Done. Happy eating.
Yeah, this
Great.
is great.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
in depth. Love
I like
it.
that a lot.
All right. Tyrone. I think we saw
Okay.
a version of this earlier today, so I think he may have updated it.
I like how simplistic you went with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like just having this kind of, I believe it's called monotone, where you have just a darker color on top of a lighter color with your artwork. That's pretty
Yep.
fun. Okay.
Click for
for it.
audio. I'm not sure if the audio is going to play through. If it does, you'll hear it. We won't hear it. So there might be audio.
And I think up at the top right, that's your hamburger menu.
Yep.
Okay. And then you have that sliding out. That's a kind of a cool animation that you had there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very simple.
Okay, and you still have that. I like that you have that kind of. I mean, I would maybe make a little bit more contrast here, but I like that you kind of keep it in the family with that image kind of in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Looks delicious.
Yeah, beans and rice and chicken. Man,
Mm-hmm.
looking good. Okay. Getting specific. Interesting.
I would say if I can go back, can I? Yeah. For this button. Oh, never mind. Okay. I thought it was just the arrow that was active, but it looks like the whole button. Great.
Okay, and so we got billing address.
I think the details on the screen are a little bit small. I would probably enlarge them a little so we can really see, especially if you're using this on a smaller phone, it might be a little bit difficult to read.
Yeah, I would say kind of a rule of thumb. Some people say 16 is the lowest you want to go. Sometimes you just have to go 14 point. But that's the lowest you want to go. You don't want anything below that.
Yeah, and I think there's a little shopping cart icon here.
Okay.
Might be a little small.
Yeah.
But
we see your intention.
Right.
I mean, cool.
Only 3 stars, not very good. Would not
well,
recommend.
3 of 4. It's interesting. So I
Well,
guess
true,
it's like kind of 75%.
So someone's asking, will the submission still count if it was done after their review session started? Yes. So you'll have probably a little bit of time after this stream ends before we actually pick a winner for tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
One thing I would say, just to help you out, because I know you're trying to make this as quickly as possible, there's plenty of awesome UI kits out there where you have this kind of top Apple status bar thing.
Yeah.
You can pull right from those UI kits that Adobe offers right in the menu.
Yeah, if you go to the File menu down to Get UI Kits, there's Apple iOS, Google Material, Windows, and then there's also more UI kits, and there are a few of them that have like food components you can probably pull from.
Yeah, in this case it would be super apt.
Yeah.
But you pull that in just to kind of make this standardized thing, and it's perfectly fine. You don't have to mess with it at all. You don't have to make sure it's looking great. It's already set.
Yep.
So.
All right, next one, we got Spooky Knife. Spoony Knife.
Spoony knife.
Spooky could be fun too. This looks nice.
Okay, yeah. I see what's going on here. This is really cool.
There's definitely a lot of information on this screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like how it's asking what your favorite food is, because that, I would assume, would help recommend additional dishes.
What is your favorite food? Okay.
So let's try,
I
what do we
like
click
your
on first?
pictures.
Pictures
just,
are good.
just to kind of say something. Your pictures are great. Good selections, and they kind of are showing off the best parts of each picture. Your logo, if you did that kind of on the fly, that's actually pretty good,
Yeah.
to do in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, Christy's asking if animations work with the shared preview link. Not yet. It's not a bug, it's just not completely implemented in the browser, but it is being worked on.
I like the thought that went into this.
Yeah.
Definitely. So.
Okay, there was a little loading screen. There might have been some animation there. Again, not supported just yet, but this looks good. It looks kind of like Yelp going on.
Yeah. The way you have the stars kind of set up is definitely more Yelp. But this is good. The only thing I would really say is maybe have, the Burger Brigade, maybe have those images just a tad bigger. They could probably take up the whole width. But, I mean, these are small things. I'm really impressed here.
Yeah. I love the keyboard that kind of, I would assume, slides up from the bottom.
Yeah.
What else do we have featured? We have more burgers. Okay.
Okay.
Szechuan sushi.
That's some good food right there. Some Szechuan sushi.
Very nice.
Cool. Yeah, that's really, got a nice menu there. That clown
Interesting
is
clown. I'm
definitely
not sure
kind of creepy.
I'm digging that clown.
I don't know if I could stare at this too long just because of the
it's gone.
clown. That menu was great though.
Nice. Good job.
That clown will haunt my dreams.
This one looks like it's a video, so there might be some animations in this. Okay. Ooh.
Interesting.
That was fancy.
Yeah. Ooh.
Drag effects.
I like it. This is looking good.
So if you are set on showing some animations in your prototypes, export a video for now until it's supported in the browser.
What?
This is nice.
Yeah, this is looking good. Really impressed.
Yeah. Let's play that one more time.
Okay. So I saw how you had that icon kind of, or that logo kind of disappear.
Yeah.
This is good.
I would say the shadows on the buttons are probably not needed.
Yeah.
A little bit too overdone, but
Actually didn't even see them at first.
yeah.
But, okay, so yeah. I would say that like if you're going to have the color of the button be the shadow color as well, go light on it. But that's really the only thing I got.
Yeah.
This is looking really good. So
Nice job.
yeah, well done.
We have Super Burger. Oh, it looks like it could have
That's cool.
done something similar
Yeah.
to what I was doing.
The pictures in here are great.
I know. Doesn't it make you hungry?
Yeah.
Nice.
I like
I'm
how you have
wondering
this
if
kind of
this-
gradient going behind it, and it's
Yeah.
kind of leading into that key subject matter.
It's kind of fun. I'm wondering
It's
if
good
this
lead
is
of the eye.
this was supposed to be a drag effect,
Yeah.
which we can't see in the browser yet.
I think that's what they're kind of alluding to.
I think so,
Bit with
yeah, it looks like
with
it.
them on the sides like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cheeseburger, great.
yeah,
Love it. Looks good.
yeah. This is a great,
I love
great
that image.
start. Yeah.
All right, we got food roulette. Let's play. I'm
I like
scared.
that splash image. That was really good. Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
I like that. You kind of give them some pre-made options.
What are you in the mood for? That's a good question. I guess dinner. Huh.
I like how that's
This is kind of cool. Yeah. And there's voice apparently.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I wish we can try that out. Sushi, I can do that. I can deal with that. This
Yeah,
is unique.
I
This
like
is
sushi.
different. I like this.
Yeah, this is definitely a different way to approach this.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking at it, trying to figure out, the implications, but it's looking really good.
Yeah. And you can start over.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, very
All
cool.
right. And the last one for now.
I love that artwork. If that's
Yeah.
yours, really well done.
Really cool.
Kind of a Escher
Oh.
style.
Little menu slides
Woodcut.
out from the left.
Interesting. Okay. I like what you have here. Only thing I would say, and this is low level critique, maybe dial back the opacity of your shadowy. You have it over the food. You can't really see the food at all.
Right.
So that's the only thing. But I like how you have it kind of rounded. I'm a sucker for rounded stuff. And I like how you have the information. It's really simple, really easy to read. So
Same suggestion here.
Yeah.
I would assume, yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
You're almost, it's like just there. So cool.
SpongeBob.
Cool. So that's how you would kind of filter, I'm guessing.
Yeah. All right, Japanese,
Love some
seafood.
ramen. Cool.
They really went all out on this one.
Yeah, you made a lot of screens in a pretty short amount of time. This is impressive.
Nice. Good
Excellent.
job. All right.
Okay.
So, any last words? You want to kind of go over what you did again?
Okay.
We have a few minutes left if you want to polish some stuff up.
Okay. I'm not sure how much time we have. Okay, so we
About
got
10
about
minutes.
18 minutes. Interesting. Okay. So maybe we should start doing some prototyping.
Maybe you can kind of give us a preview of how the voice prototyping is going to work.
Okay, so you're saying
And
you want me
leave
to
the
just
really-
kind of run through.
Or do some just basic prototyping, whatever works.
Okay. I mean, so here's kind of the scenario. I mean, we already went over this kind of the beginning of the stream.
Yep.
But if you weren't here, you're Ralph, and you're wanting to kind of plan out your day. So you're just going through and you're wanting to look at the weather to kind of see if you want to do something outside, if you want to do something inside. And you ask Alexa, what's the weather going to be today?
Mm-hmm.
And she says pretty much that it's going to be abysmal. It's going to be kind of cold. If you're from Evan Place and you're from Minnesota, this is not cold at all. But, it's kind of dreary. And there's going to be thunderstorms. And what you gather from that is probably should just stay inside and just relax.
Probably.
So you say, yuck, Alexa, let's look at some movies that we can go, maybe, let's go see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that's it. So you're going into Flix. And so you can imagine that these would kind of like slide out from the side, and so you're into the screen, and you would just say, Alexa, I'm gonna choose First Man, and so she would lead you to this, and this is gonna have some cool, maybe we'll just leave this for auto animate to build out and everything, but I think we could just probably go in and maybe have this kind of slide in, and I liked what you did with your animations earlier, where the text kind of rises and then bobbles a little bit,
Right.
and then we could do some of that as
Yeah,
well.
there's some cool easing options you can choose to give you different effects.
Yeah, and maybe in this even we have it so that it's kind of off the edge a little bit, so where you would have like another movie, kind of like we have in this.
Every time you say Alexa, people's Alexas keep going off.
Oh,
They probably just went off again. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm actually gonna keep saying it because this is funny. No, I'm just kidding. We'll stop. So how we kind of have this right here. We might want to do something with that so that they can just say, what's another name for Mrs. A? Maybe we'll just go with Mrs. A.
Sure.
There we go. We'll say, Mrs. A, show me more movies that are popular right now. And so it would probably slide over a little bit. And we're going to show how that would work with like different movies and everything. Then we're going to move through this theater section. And you're just going to say, I choose Mrs. A. I choose AMC Majestic 12. And she would go, okay, well, let's go to your ticket details. And once again, you're just going to go through Mrs. A, select IMAX.
You can use Sensei.
Sensei. Select 1:20 p.m. Sensei, let's go with 2 adult tickets for $19.97 each. And then we're going to grab our seat. And what you would have to do here is, if any of you have ever played chess out there, you know how you kind of label your moves. You would have to kind of do that here. I'm pretty sure that there's a better option for this on how to select the individual seats. And that's something I'm going to work on tonight. But for right now, this is a good stopgap, which is you would say, I choose 8D and 9D. Sensei, I choose 8D and 9D. And she would go, okay, so let's go to checkout. And you would say, this. Oh, sorry, I'm having to reprogram my brain from saying that. But Sensei, let's go with a credit card. And she would just lead you through this email confirmation. So, but besides that, did we want to go back and like kind of work on this play trailer button?
Yeah, if you want to, sure. We have a few minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah, looking at it again, not digging the gradient inside of that button.
Yeah, so maybe we just kind of make it black. It's so light back here that if we were to knock it out, like
it would basically
we
be
tried,
black.
yeah, like we tried down here, it would just be black anyways. So maybe it's just like a dark gray. Actually, I'm gonna switch this from a solid color.
Hey, Kevin Lee is here. How's it going, Kevin?
Good to meet you, Kevin. Is he like a regular, I'm assuming?
I think he did a stream here, I believe. If I have the right person. He did, yes.
Okay,
I got a
cool.
thumbs up.
Awesome.
It's hard to tell from the little tiny profile picture.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So maybe it's like kind of a lighter black. I don't know. We can kind of play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's about kind of, you want people to know it's there.
Right.
But maybe it doesn't need to be so punchy because that solid black up against that white background is such a stark contrast that it can with the gradient we saw that. Our eyes automatically went to that play trailer button.
Right.
Maybe it just needs to kind of be dialed down a bit, and it kind of be less of a focus, because we really want this to be the focus. Because studies have shown. That's why they still make these beautiful posters, is because the posters help sell the movie, the trailer helps sell the movie. So it's interesting. Yeah, maybe just with this. We're just gonna go through, grab that color from up here, just using the eyedropper.
We're gonna put ratings on this screen?
That is something that we can definitely do. The problem, I looked forever on trying to find Rotten Tomatoes, because they have these cool little icons for different phases of the rating. Like if it's really high, it's got like the tomato with this like halo around it. If it's pretty good, it's got just the tomato, and if it's bad, then they have that green kind of splatter.
Right, that little rotten tomato.
I would have to go kind of on Chrome and do a little digging. Do you think we have time for that, or?
We might, yeah.
Okay, maybe.
You can always default to stars if you have to.
Okay, yeah, let's just do
tomatoes
some
are
stars.
fun.
Let me pull up Nucleo real quick.
We should invest something called a Sensei. We do have Adobe Sensei, but it'd be cool if we had like an actual device that just powered our lives.
That would be cool. So let's just do stars. And Nucleo's great.
Nucleo is great.
But there's tons of UI kits. There's even one built into, like where I got this right here, was built into a UI kit that Sis Sonderby made. I'm probably butchering her name. So she made this beautiful Alexa UI kit. and it's on Behance. If you want to kind of search for that, it might be easily searchable. I'm not sure. But she's got these icons that Amazon uses. And I think they even made it in collaboration with Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did work very closely with Amazon on a lot of the stuff.
Okay, so yeah, these icons are from there. These are probably Sensei icons. And so maybe we can try to find a star in here real quick. If not, we can definitely pull from Nucleo. Nucleo is a really good icon kit. Another really good one is Streamline.
Yep.
Peter, Evan, and myself, we highly recommend that.
Yeah, in my stream this morning with Peter, people were just dropping links for different UI or icon resources. Font Pick is one, PIK. There's Flat Icon. There's Orion Icon Library. There's a lot of different resources, and many of these
Orion
are free.
is really good as well.
Oh yeah, here's my screen here. Orion's really cool. There's over 6,000 free SVG vector icons.
Wow.
Flat Icon. Font Pick, it just goes on and on and on. I didn't even know about some of these, which is great. And apparently Font Pick, or this app, was created by someone who was just in your seat streaming.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say with like Flat Icon, when you're searching for icons, you want to keep them stylistically in the same family as much as possible.
Right.
Flat Icon, you kind of have a hard time with that because they're just gonna, based on what you're searching, they're just gonna give it to you in the category that you're asking for. Like if it's, I don't know, email or something, they're just gonna show you a bunch of email icons.
Right.
And you wanna make sure that your email icon and maybe a different type of icon look similar. So just a little FYI out there. Let's grab from Nucleo. And this is kind of a fun app, so maybe we'll go with something that's more rounded, like this guy right here. And we're just gonna drag him right into this, and he's super itty bitty because he's only
so
16
cute.
pixels. And we're just gonna bump him up. Gonna make sure that we lock the proportions. And maybe we'll go with 32. And he's definitely ground. So gonna drag him right in there. Before I drag him in there up against that dark surface, I am gonna change his color to, that's, maybe we'll just make him white for right now while we're placing him.
There we go.
And we're gonna make sure that he's actually a little too big. I'm gonna dial him down just a little bit, but we're gonna make sure that he's centered, everything's centered right there. I'm gonna give it some space, and we're just gonna dupe. Actually, we don't need to just do it like that. We can just do repeat grid. Boom. Done. I'm gonna give First Man 5 stars.
It's that easy.
Yeah. Actually, let's just for the, oh.
Nope, can't do that.
Can't do that? Okay.
Nope.
So we would have to break it out of the grid to change an individual.
But if you want to do like 4.5, you can just drag the repeat grid handle a little bit inwards.
That's a good option as well.
Now
So
you
there
have
we go.
4.5.
Boom. So
That works.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. Maybe we should dial back the size. But the good thing with the repeat grid is when you change one of these elements, all of them are going to change to match that sizing.
Yep.
So we're keeping it with the 8 pixel denomination. So we're going to go 24. Forgot to lock the proportions. Hopefully it doesn't lock it for all of them. Or there we go. And we're gonna have to play with this a little bit. Kind of bring that down just a bit. And so yeah, maybe this too much space between them. We're gonna maybe drop that to 16.
Sweet.
So how are we doing on? So
Looks good. We got less than a minute left.
Okay. So yeah, so that's actually looking pretty good.
It does
I
look
might try different stars or whatever, but I can't really do that in just a minute time.
That's okay.
Right, so
You can always work on it tonight and come
Yeah.
back with a little bit more of a polished rating system.
yeah,
This was
we'll
fun.
definitely get into it.
And tomorrow is really going to be fun. We're going to be I'm not doing anything. You're going to be prototyping this thing, adding voice, adding speech playback, auto animate, and who knows what else. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning with Peter Del Tondo.
Yeah.
Got his name right this time. And then we're going to have Gus coming back with Evan Place at 11 o'clock. And then we're going to be closing out the day. And we're going to be reviewing portfolios tomorrow. We're going to be going to space. Space helmets.
Yes,
It's going to happen.
I get to wear the space helmet.
So thanks so much for
excited.
watching, everyone. And we will see you all tomorrow morning.
All
Bright and
right.
early.
See you guys.
See ya.
Chattanooga.